Hello everyone, I'm Uberswe, and in this video we will be building a crate mod storage system. We're just going to be using the base crate mod without any other mods. This is the 5th build in my 30-day crate mod build challenge, which is a challenge you can participate in. Each of my builds take less than 1 day to build, each one has to fit in a 25 by 25 plot, and even though I'm in creative mode, I do my best to keep things both survival friendly and simple. Here's a list of all the different things that I will be building as part of this video series. I'm also including a link in the description below to the mod pack that I'm using and this world, along with a chart of all the builds. Towards the end of this video, I will also be taking a look at a few storage system builds that my viewers have submitted as part of this challenge. If you would like to join the challenge, you can upload a schematic of your build to either cratemod.com, schematiccannon.com, or my Discord. Make sure to tag your build with 30-day challenge so that it's easier for me to find. So let's get started with our build. So I've kind of put down some blocks here to give me a bit of an outline, and the first thing I want to do is put down some stones just like this, and then on top of that we're going to put down a chest. And then I'm just going to repeat this process all the way back. So we're just going to put stones right here, going all the way back here, and then we're going to make this too wide, just like this. And on top of this, we're just going to put down chests, just like so. And then on the opposite side, I've marked out another area, which is the same. We're just going to put chests there. And I've left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks in between here. And just like so, this is going to be the start of our build right here. And next, I'm just going to go 2 out like this, and we're going to put another chest here. And this is going to be the chest where we input our materials and stuff. I have a bunch of stuff here we can input, but we'll get to that later. But this will be our input chest, and to hook that up, we're going to need to put a shaft here, and we can put another shaft here because that will allow us to put down a mechanical belt. And then we can click with a mechanical belt on top of the mechanical belt here to extend it. And we can go ahead and extend this belt all the way down to the end of the chest here so that it covers the entire row. And then we'll put a brass funnel on the back of this chest, and we'll make sure that it's facing outwards like this. There's kind of an arrow here that you can see, and if it's not facing outward, you can right click on it to change the direction. But you want to make sure that it's pointing out, because that means it's going to output items. If it's pointing in like this, it's going to take items from the belt and put them into the chest. So make sure it's left like this, and we don't need a filter because we want all the items to just go in here. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our brass funnel and we're going to put a brass funnel on each chest. And okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take brass funnels and we're going to stick them on each one of these chests. By default, if you right click with a funnel on a chest, it's going to have the arrow pointing outwards. However, in this case, we want the arrows pointing inwards because we want items to actually go into our chests here. So the basic concept of the system is items are going to empty out here. They're going to go along the belt. And then we're going to set filters here that are going to pick up items if the filter matches, and that's going to sort into our chests here. And if you want to make sure that the arrow is pointing the right way, then you can hold shift as you place these brass funnels, and that's going to make sure that the arrow is actually pointing inwards, so you don't have to go back and flip them all. So we can go ahead and add funnels to all our chests, just like this. All right, and once we're done with that, we can go up here and we can place down a stone right there with a chest on top. I'm holding shift so I can place a chest onto another chest like this. And this is going to be a row of chests that are going to be above our existing chests here. Now, of course, we can't have stone here because that's going to prevent this chest from opening. So instead, you want to make sure that you have stone stairs, for example. So here we'll grab some stone stairs. And if we're putting these above the chests down here, then we can still open these chests. So I'm going to go ahead, put some stone stairs here, just all the way along. And then once we've done that, we can go ahead and put our chests. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. And now that we have all our chests placed like this, we can go ahead and add a belt to our top row. So we're just going to place a shaft here and another shaft here. Then we're going to connect these two with a belt like so. And then we're going to extend this belt all the way down, going across like this. And then we're also going to take our brass funnels and place them like this. And once again, you want to make sure your brass funnels are facing with the arrow inwards like this. You don't want them like this because this is outputting items. This is picking up items. So that's very important. And now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to add belts here that are going to go across and also some brass funnels. Okay, now we need something to power our belts here. So we're going to build up 2 blocks just like this. And then we're going to take a water wheel and we're going to place it right here. And then I'm going to place a block on top of the water wheel and we're going to dig out a hole here and just build up some blocks like this. I think we're going to need it about this high. And then we can place some water right here. And that's going to make our water wheel turn. Now, this is a little bit slow for our storage system, but it's going to be all the power that we need. However, to speed it up, we can remove these and then we can get a speed controller. And with our rotational speed controller, we can place it right here. And then we can take a large cogwheel and place it right here. And that's going to allow us to adjust the speed of which this is rotating. So right now it's 16 RPM, but we could put this at 64 RPM. And it's also going to allow us to change the direction, because if we connect this now, you're going to see the belt is going the wrong way. This is our input, and we want the items to go out and go this way. Currently, the belt is going the wrong way. So with that, we'll just take our speed controller here, and we'll go up to 64 like so. That's going to reverse the direction, and now our belt is rotating the correct way. And if you don't have a speed controller, you can always use large and small cogs to speed up the speed, as I've done in my previous videos. Now we need a way for our items that are coming down this belt here to get up to this belt. And we also need to get rotational power to the belt up here. So I think we can do this and maybe put this here. And if we click with a shaft on this belt here, then that's going to give power to this encased chain drive because we have a shaft in the belt. So you can right click on a belt with a shaft to add a shaft inside the belt, and then right click with a wrench to remove the shaft, just like that. So we're going to put a shaft here. We're going to put our encased chain drive just like so. And then up here, we're going to add a shaft here, and then I'm going to hold shift, add another shaft here, and we're going to make this go out just like this. And then down here, we're going to have another belt. And this belt is going to go up just like this to that height. So that's going to bring items up. And I think we can put a gearbox right here. We'll put another encased chain drive like this. And then we can put a shaft right in here. And that's going to be allowing us to... And that's going to bring items up to this level. Now we need a nice way to get the items onto this belt here. And for that, we're going to need another belt right here. And right here. Just like this. And we can probably make this go out one. And have... No, actually, I think I can do it. Let's right click on the belt like that to remove one. And we'll put a gearbox in here. So it's a little bit of a tight squeeze here, but I think this works. And as a bonus, we can extend this belt just like that. And now that belt is also moving in the right direction. So if we were to have an item that was down here, it would now go all the way up onto these belts here and all the way going to the opposite side, just like this. So right now I don't have any filters here, but if we were to put like a shaft as a filter in all of these funnels, this is basically going to prevent anything except shafts from going into these chests. So just for demonstration purposes here. In an actual setup, you would have different items. And we can go ahead and leave this last one blank, just like this. So to show you how this works now, if I were to drop a gearbox on the belt here, we can see that the gearbox is moving along the belt. And then as it gets in here, it's going to go up the belt and around, and then it goes over on these funnels here. And it entered the last one because that's the only one without a filter. So it's going to accept anything into the chest, just like this. So that's how we work with belts. Now I'm going to make these belts go all the way over to the other side so that everything is connected. So what we're going to do here is we're going to extend this by 2, just like that. And then we're going to put an encased chain drive, just like so. And then we'll flip that by 1. We'll put a gearbox right here. And then we'll have another encased chain drive up here, just like so. And then we'll put a shaft here. And we can put another shaft here. And now we can connect these. And that's going to be a way for items to go up. And then we can make them go over to the other side right here. So we'll just put another encased chain drive here. And then we'll put 2 shafts here. And connect the belt just like so. Okay, so now that we're over on this side, we need to get some power to these belts here. So I think I'm going to bring this out 1 here. And then what we can do is we can go down 1, 2, and then we'll put a 3rd one like so. We'll put a shaft here. And then we can, bring our belt out a little bit. Just over to here. And that will be really good. So now we have power coming from the other side to give these belts power here. And I think the easiest way to bring items down here is for us to get a chute. And we'll place it just like this. So now items coming in are going to go in the chute here and then go down along this belt here. On the opposite side here, we can kind of use the same concept as items are moving down. So we can go and extend this belt by 1, and we'll put 1, 2 chutes right here. So that's going to be able to take items and just drop them down to the lower level. And then we'll place a shaft in this belt here, and we'll put a gearbox here and 1 here, and rotate these so that they're facing upwards like this. And then we'll just stick a shaft here in the middle, and that's going to reverse the rotation and make our belt go the opposite way so that items now have to pass in front of every funnel in our system in order to be checked here. And instead, I'm going to have a vault here, which is going to catch all the overflow of all the items that doesn't get sorted into any of the chests. So this vault can hold a lot of items, and we're just going to take a funnel and we're going to put it on here. This funnel should never have a filter because we don't want items getting stuck on the belt here. So this is just going to catch everything. And on the front side here, we could have another funnel, and you want to make sure that this one is pointing out. And we can have a lever here because this lever can be used to deactivate a funnel. So now you can see it's glowing red on the inside here. This means it's deactivated because it's receiving a redstone signal. And to activate it again, you can see it's now dark, which means it's allowed to drop items. This means it's not allowed to drop items. So if we, for example, drop an item here so that it goes into the vault, we can now see that it's not dropping out. However, if we switch the lever here, it's going to drop the item. So that's kind of a nice overflow system. And then you can just flip this lever, get all the items, and then go and sort them and fix the filters and everything like that. And now that we have a functioning storage system, we can go ahead and do a little time lapse where we're going to build and decorate all of this. And then at the end, I'll show you guys how everything works. And now our build is done. So inside here, I put up a bunch of plaques, which kind of symbolizes the different categories that we have. And if I want to add to these plaques, I can just take items and just add them to here. So we could have a birch chest here, a spruce wood chest here, and a jungle wood chest here, for example. And as you can see, we could have multiple chests. So maybe like I have a bunch of redstone items, then I would just have 3 different redstone chests here where our redstone items would go. And I did put some barrels here for decoration purposes. They don't actually do anything. They're just like storage if you, I don't know, want to stick some items in here that you might need. But our input is still here where it was last time. And now we could input a bunch of items here. And it's all going to get sorted in different ways. Anything I don't have filters for is going to go into our final chest there. We can actually put the water buckets in there too. But let's go on the other side and see what's happening in the back. So if we go in through this door here, you can see that I have decorated a little bit back here. It's kind of a tight space, but we have the same setup that we mentioned last time with 1 belt below and 1 belt above. Then items go over to the other side. I've also taken these list filters here, so we can right click with an empty hand to grab a list filter. And here you can see I have, for example, oak logs in this filter, but you can change these to anything. So like down here, we have a different filter. This one is set to wheat seeds. So if we go to the other side, we're going to see that if we put in wheat seeds, it's going to go into the wheat seed chest there. So let's grab some wheat seeds. We'll grab a stack of 64, just like so. And I believe it was this chest that had the filter. And now you can see that we have wheat seeds in there. I think it took some of the other ones that I put in earlier, or maybe when I was testing the system as I was finishing the build. But there you go. Here we have oak logs. I think this is an oak filter. The filters in the back don't really match the plaques right now, but you could, you should make them match. So I would take this plaque and, change it to an oak log plaque. Just like so. And then when we put oak logs in here, we can see that it's going to get filtered into this chest here. Just like that. So that's how the system works. Now, if you want to filter an entire category, you can go over to the other side. I mean, it doesn't actually matter which side you have it on. I just chose to have it on opposite sides because it makes sense to me, but you could mix and match however you wanted. So here, instead of having these list filters, we have attribute filters here. So if we grab this one, for example, you can see we have one tag. So we can see is tagged with Minecraft logs. Then it's going to go into this chest. So that's what an attribute tag is. And I think, let's see what this one is. Okay, this one is the same one. So we could like get rid of this. We press the trash can to get rid of this. And we could say like, add reference item. Okay, so this wrench cannot stack. It can also be tagged with C wrenches, and it was also added by create. So we could filter by any of these broad categories here. We're going to say items that cannot stack. And we're going to add that to our attribute list. And then we're going to say, here we can say it has to match all the filters, or we can say any of the filters. So if we have like multiple filters, like it was added by create, then we could say, oh, it has to match any of them, or it has to match all of them. And here, this would basically only be the create wrench. Is there anything else that doesn't stack in create mod? I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments down below if you know of any items that don't stack and are part of the base create mod. That would be interesting to know, actually. Okay, so we're going to remove those, and we're just going to add cannot stack here. That's going to be our attribute, and then we're going to click the check mark here, and we're going to add this to the last funnel here. And now, if we go to the inside here, and we put our wrench inside the input chest right here, so now it's going to go along the belts into our sorting system, and eventually it should end up in this last chest here, because it's the only chest that has a filter that has items that cannot stack. And there we go. It took a little while, but the wrench finally arrived because it's the only one that matches this filter. We can probably put in like other items that don't stack. One that I can think of is like a boat, for example. I'm pretty sure you can't stack boats. So if we put a If we put a boat in here, then we should see it going along the belts. And we can actually check back here. I hope it doesn't match oak logs or something. But it should eventually come out on the top belt here. So let's see. Is it going to pop down on the funnels here? Yeah, there we go. We got the boat right here. It's going to go along the belt, checking all of these filters here. Then it's going to go down, come back around, and it should go into this final funnel here. And if it hadn't matched this filter, it would go into this one. And here we have a bunch of items that didn't get sorted, so we can always take those out. But yeah, our boat is now in the chest here with items that cannot stack. So that's like a way you can filter items based on category instead of like specifically filtering them. And now we had items that couldn't be sorted. So then we can we could stand next to it here, but we could just open this. It's going to drop one set of items. Then you can turn it off again and go get these items. So you can be like, okay, where do I need to put my vertical gearboxes? And then you can go get the next item, be like, okay, where do I need to put my composter? And then if you're just standing here, you could just grab all items really quickly like this. That's also a possibility. So it's up to you how you want to use that, but that's how the catch-all system works. And there you have it. So this is my storage system, and now we're going to take a look at a few storage systems submitted by my viewers. So let's hop over there. I'm also going to turn on shaders because, why not? Everything looks pretty with shaders on. This first build here is a storage system submitted by Kua SR, and it's a kind of a small brick building with some mud bricks and bricks here. Looks really nice. I like the roof. It's kind of like a factory style roof, I guess. I'm not sure what to call that. If anyone knows, do let me know in the comments down below. But I like the lights. I like a little bit of green here with the trees, with the little shrubs here. And if we go inside, we have a bunch of chests. So it's a similar system to what I had set up. However, you're making use of hoppers here to transfer items from one chest to the next chest. So you're getting more space out of your space, I guess. You have more storage in that. So basically any items that are not filtered will come out here. They're stored in this vault here. And for the input, you can input items here. So let me grab some items. We'll take a stack of grass blocks and input them here into the system. So the items are going to go out of the funnel here, over the fluid drains, and then up through the chutes here because they're being pulled by a fan. And then I'm not sure where things get sorted. I don't even know if that grass block is going to end up anywhere or if it just ends up in the item vault, but we can check back here. The basic sorting of this is the same as my system where you have filters here that are sorting all the items. But instead of having funnels over the belts, I think the belt is running behind here, and then you have funnels on the side of the belts like this. And whenever there's a matching item, it's going to go into one of these chutes here. So I think our grass blocks probably ended up in this chest here. And we can actually go down and close this door. And then we should be, what, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it should be here. So there's our grass blocks. And if you wanted to sort more items, we could always add them to the filters up there. And you have these filters all the way around. So you can sort lots and lots of items. So it's very efficient storage. Very cool. Thank you for submitting this build, Kua. It was really fun to look at. And now we're off to the next build. The next build here is made by JC Winner. And it's a structure made out of glass and andesite casing mostly. And if we go on inside, by opening this spruce door, we can see that there's some maintenance areas here perhaps, where you can go in and set your filters and everything. And, just manage everything in general. You can see there's lots of list filters here on all the funnels where items are going to go in. And I believe, I'm not actually sure how the items are being sorted here. Oh, they're just falling off from the chutes up here. So you have chutes, items fall down, and they get picked up by these funnels here. So that's how this sorting system works. So you need to adjust these filters up here, and you need to adjust the filters down here. And there's also a bunch of these empty blaze burners that have been lit with a flint and steel. So that's something you can do with the crate mod as well. And if we go in here in the middle, we're surrounded by fire, and you can see there's plaques to, put items to like kind of label what you're storing and where. And it's kind of nice that the plaques are not in the way for opening the chest, because it can be a little bit hard to like, reach in between chests to open them. So a very cool storage system. And powering all of this, if we go outside here, you can see that there are these huge windmills on top of it, and they're using cogs here. So you're going from large cog to small cog, large cog, small cog, and eventually it's gearing up and going really fast here. And this is being used to power the belt that you see going across here. And I believe there's also a fan that's blowing up through the chutes here to kind of make items go upwards. Because when you want to sort items, not actually sure where you put the items you want to sort. Maybe that's where you need to go in here. Let's see. Yeah, I guess you put items you want to sort in here, and then it's going to get pulled up by the fan here and sorted in the system here. So that's really cool. So thank you so much, JC Winner, for sending this build in. Now we're off to look at the next build. This next build is built by Skulkers, and it's using a bunch of cut andesite, which seems like an expensive choice if you're using the crate mod. Looking around the outside, you can see there's an oak roof. We have a glass opening here so we can kind of see inside all the mechanics of the sorting system. Very cool. And that's pretty much all we can see from the outside. If we head inside, we can see a really nice palette of blocks here. So instead of using placards or something like that, they are using blocks to kind of label the sorting here. And we also have blocks in the ground here, which is really nice. And we also have the sign here, which is crate casings. So any crate casings that we have go in there. And I believe this is the barrel where we input items. So we could try some grass blocks in here as well. Actually, is there a chest for grass blocks? I guess not. Maybe we should try it with like some cobblestone. So we'll put some cobblestone in the barrel there. It disappears automatically. I guess it goes through all these belts and everything up here. And then, yeah, we get cobblestone. So that was sorted correctly. Very cool. I guess we can go in here. It uses a similar design to my system. This is typically what you're going to see with crate mod storage systems, I would say. So you have all these funnels here with filters that are dropping into hoppers that are then going into chests and then more hoppers. And they're making use of hoppers here to get even more storage, which is really cool. And you have two levels. You have the upper level here and the lower level. And over here you can also use smart chutes with filters on them to do the same kind of sorting. Oh, and it looks like my grass blocks didn't have anywhere to go, so they got stuck here. Which is interesting. But yeah, really cool build. Thank you so much, Skulkers, for submitting that build. And now we're off to look at the next build. Next up, we have a build by FJ7G. And this is another one of their builds, which are apparently tileable builds that they're going to connect later for some kind of interesting world that has these like different towers and stuff, which is awesome. And they built a storage system this time. And if we look here, if we go over to the wall here, you can see that there's a polished blackstone button. And if we press that, we'll see a door that goes down. And in here, you have a very advanced storage system. And it even uses a bunch of redstone to work, as you can see back here. So now, I don't really have time to go through all of that redstone, but the basic idea is you input items here, and then they'll get sorted. Any rejected items are just going to come back here. And you also have this awesome bulk storage system here, which uses like fans and a bunch of redstone to function, which is really cool. However, one thing I really liked, let's close this door, is the chests that are built up here. So I'm not really sure what they're for, if they're purely decorational or not. But if we go inside these chests, there's like a little opening back here. You can see that there's an elevator. So we can actually sit down on this elevator and move this up to floor number 2. And if we press that, we get sent up to the top floor. So I imagine that this space is some kind of like additional storage. So, you know, if you run out of storage down below with that system that was there, I imagine that you can use this elevator here to, you know, stash all your fancy goods and everything in different areas. So I really like that system. So now I guess you can store your chests inside these chests. Thank you so much, FJ7G, for submitting this build. It was really fun to look at. And now we're off to the next build. This next build is made by Shelco, and they've kind of made a windmill and storage system in one. So it does a little bit of everything. So as you can see from the outside, we have this beautiful windmill here, and we can do a little bit of a tour around here. Very nice palette, very nice design, and you also have like a little wheat farm down at the bottom. And then if we head inside, we have the actual storage system here. So you have a bunch of chests, you have some hoppers, you have filters. You can see all the iron swords like go in here, for example, and we could put an iron sword on the placard here if we wanted to, you know, show what's in what chest. So all the unsorted items will end up here, and our input is all the way up here in this chest here. And put down shulker box. Okay, so I guess this is like if you're carrying your shulker boxes with you, you can just place your shulker box here and it's going to empty and sort everything. Oh, and they're using fluid drains here, or item drains, I guess it's called, which kind of function as belts. So if we put our grass blocks in here, you can see that they kind of roll on the item drains. The filters kind of made it so all our grass blocks is kind of entered into this chest. So if we put a few more filters here, maybe we can see these item drains in action. So let's put our grass blocks in there, and now you can see they're rolling across here, and finally they get filtered in there. So that's kind of a fun way to have the items roll around the base. And then down here we have a hole in the ground, which is for an elevator. So if we go over to this pressure plate here, the elevator should come down. Ta-da! And I like the speed that it moves. And then as we go up, we have a little area here with a toolbox and everything, and a little balcony where we can, you know, look at the rest of the view. And we have the windmill here above us. And if we go up to the top floor, now I do want to say that all the paintings like pop off the wall when I loaded this in. So some of the paintings may be in the wrong place. I kind of just placed them where I thought they should go, but you know, I could be completely wrong. So here's a design by me. I just put the paintings up like this. It's beautiful. Thank you. And then we have like an armor stand here and some empty bookshelves with some seating. And up here we have 2 beds with a beautiful view out of the windows here. Very nice. Thank you so much, Shelco, for submitting this build. It was a lot of fun to look at. And that was our final build. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been build number 5, which was a storage system. And in the next video, we're going to be building a tree farm. So stay tuned for that one. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.